Boom. And you got that done pretty quick.
Mate, I feel like I'm getting
all
on this
flashed
now.
up.
Yeah,
Cool.
there we go. I feel like I'm getting used to that now.
Yeah, so we are going over DC Fandom and all the trailers that went off at the weekend. Obviously, we got lots of guests here. So we got Sancho, we got BC, we got Andy, we got Alex, who's part of the podcast with Andy, and then we've got Aaron. Welcome, guys. Cheers for coming on. Lots of good chat about the trailers coming up.
Thank you.
Who got in? So we've got Caboose and we've got Barry in the chat so far. Cool. So what we'll do, we'll start off with Wonder Woman 1984. Sancho, do you want to kick us off? What did you expect first from the trailer, and what did you like and didn't like?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like much, and that's not saying like a bad thing. Like I trust Patty Jenkins. Obviously, she hit it off. She hit the ball, out of the park with the first Wonder Woman. 1980 Wonder Woman 1984. Like I really like the look of the film. I like that 80s setting, and I'm pretty happy to. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I didn't like was her like riding, like the lightning. Just with her was it the lasso of truth, and then going on to the next one. I just thought it was a tad on it could be on the cheesy side, but hey, I'm reserving judgment. I would prefer her do that, pray to Suze, have a lightning bolt come out, she catches it and just throws it at her enemy. But that's just me.
Okay. And did you have a sort of particular favorite on the trailer?
The golden armor was badass.
Yeah.
That
was
this
like
bit here?
Thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Cool. BC.
I think for me, it was I'm sold on the movie because it was supposed to release in June, but I wanted to see Cheetah because everybody was talking about what Cheetah looked like, the Cats movie. But when I saw it, I was happy with it. You know what I'm saying? It looked comic accurate. The suit looks great. Like, there you go right there.
Yeah.
Looks great, To me, they got my money already. I think at this point, the movie's going to make money. It's just when is the movie going to come out? Because Patty did say in the panel that it's going to come out in the movie theaters. It would not come on streaming.
Yeah.
So at this point, I give it 2 thumbs up with Wonder Woman. Like, I'm just waiting until it comes out on theaters.
So I think it's due out 2nd of October, potentially.
Yeah.
If all goes well. Was there anything that you didn't like about the trailer?
No, I think the trailer didn't show too much. I think I know that the plot leaked on Reddit a couple months ago. I didn't read it because you can't trust those from 4chan. But I think the movie did a good job of each trailer not showing us too much, but giving us the plot of like where this story's gonna go without us knowing really what's the heart of the story's gonna be. So like for me, Patty Jenkins, man, I think she's been doing a great job with Wonder Woman. So no complaints for me on my side.
Cool. Andy.
Here I am to be contrary. I think it looks poor. Like,
okay, that's enough from you. That's enough from you. Right,
see you, Andy. Bye.
And I'm really just not sold on this film at all. Like, I remember liking Wonder Woman. Like, I've not been back to it, but I remember liking it. But this one just seems like its first trailer seemed like it was trying too hard. The second trailer seems like it's just lacking personality. And I like the second trailer more, weirdly. Because it seemed like there's actual plot. Yeah. But I just keep watching it, just being like, when is this going to grab me? Because it just seems like it's a bit naff.
Okay. And is there anything that you did like in the trailer?
Honestly, like when you were asking Sancho this question, I was there just like, what happens in this trailer? I watched it again today and I've forgotten what happened in this trailer. I don't know. Like I said, I cannot think of anything that stands out for me. I go, oh, great. The first trailer used Blue Monday. That's good.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. All right, Eeyore. Let's listen to what Alex has to say.
I mean, you're wanting positivity and you're coming here.
Well, yeah, that's a point.
Okay. So I was not necessarily sold on the first trailer, and now I think I'm more sold on the first trailer than I am on the second trailer. Because this second trailer, like Andy was saying, I think the one thing that stood out for me, it just felt very paint by numbers in terms of what you expect from pretty much most superhero movie second trailers now. It's somber. It's not having as much fun as the first trailer did. I think maybe I will like this film if it has more fun with it. I think that might fit in with the sort of cheesy 80s aesthetic, but I'm not sure if I'm just ready for another paint by numbers superhero movie to just come and do the same thing that everything else has done. And it's annoying because I think I quite liked Wonder Woman. It feels like it's the only one of this recent DC slate that I've really connected with. And this kind of feels like maybe this is a step back. I'm willing to believe that it will be good, and I think Patty Jenkins is great. I'm on the fence about it. I'm interested to see a positive thing. Kristen Wiig as the villain. I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to see in the second trailer?
More fun. I think and I get that it has to do a certain kind of thing. It has to set the tone for the film, and it can't all be fun and games because, hey, we're dealing with DC after all.
Yeah.
Not all DC projects. I'll give you that because we'll talk about one picture that doesn't look. No, I'm trying to be positive, and I really do think that it could be great, but at the moment, I'm not even prepared to go to see this movie based on that second trailer. I will end up seeing it, I'm sure, eventually. But that trailer, if the job of the trailer was to sell it to me, it just hasn't worked.
Interesting. Aaron, what was your thoughts, mate?
I was a little underwhelmed by the second trailer. I liked the first trailer better. I did think that Cheetah was a little bit of a letdown for me. I know that BC liked Cheetah, but I just felt it wasn't Cat's bad, but it was not what I was expecting. I disagree with Sancho. I love the cheesy lightning. I like cheesiness in certain aspects of my comic book movies, depending on what it is.
Breaking my heart, Aaron.
My favorite part of it was probably the ending when Steve had his 80s parachute pants on. I think that was probably one of my favorite parts, and of course the cheesy lightning. But I do like I do like the first trailer a little bit more. The second one gave me a little bit more plot, but it didn't give me much than just this is what Cheetah's going to look like. But I at least I don't remember it giving away too much, which I'm glad. I don't like trailers that give away too much. I think that's it. I mean,
yeah. Was there anything that you expected from the second trailer?
No, I was going in just kind of like no expectations. I was glad to see because Kristen Wiig I'm a little bit 50-50 on, but I do like her. But I'm going in a little bit careful, but I'm going to watch it anyway. So yeah, cool. No expectations. Okay. Yeah.
And
so yeah, I've been trying to avoid Wonder Woman. Let me start that again. Not avoid it, but avoid anything leading up to it. And the reason being is because I enjoyed the first one so much, and I avoided any kind of run up to that one as well. And I'm finding that the more I want to watch something, the less I will try to engulf myself in it prior to me going out to watch it. So I think I only watched the first trailer once. I watched this one and I won't be watching it again. I'm happy to forget anything that I've already seen. But one of the things that I did want from this trailer was Cheetah. I wanted to see what they did with it, how they would portray Cheetah. And I'm the same as Aaron. I enjoy Kristen Wiig at times in the right setting, and I've always been a little bit apprehensive of her being this character simply because of what Kristen Wiig is used to do, what we're used to seeing Kristen Wiig portraying. So the jury's still out on that one, but what I got from this trailer was in a sense is what I wanted from it. I just wanted to see Cheetah and wanted to see how they did it. I kind of enjoyed the look of it. Again, I'm not going to go too much into trying to watch like breakdowns and stuff like that. I think Chris Pine is going to provide some, probably most, if not all, of the comedy source to the film. But yeah, there was not really much that I wanted to kind of really get involved in this one, because I don't want to ruin the experience of the second time, of me going to watch it for the first time, simply because I'm hoping to enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed the first one. I don't kind of want to spoil it, but I got what I wanted from it.
Cool. Yeah, I really was a bit iffy with the trailer. I didn't think it was as good as the first film when I watched that trailer initially. There's a few cool moments in it. I think there's one scene in it where she's swinging the lasso around in a circle. I think she's sort of like dodging the bullets and stuff, and I thought that looked pretty cool. But yeah, there wasn't anything in it that really grabbed my attention. And I think with the Cheetah, I was intrigued, but again, I don't know if the full CGI aspect of a fight in it's going to look that good. But yeah, I didn't set my expectations high with it, because I think similar to you, and I really enjoyed the first one. And I just hope that it's not too much comedy in this one, with Kristen on the film. So, but yeah, for me, it was just a bit. It was okay for me. It wasn't a wowing trailer for me.
But I don't think that's to say that the film is necessarily going to be bad. I just don't think that they've done a good. Not to say they've not done a good job with the trailers, but I think that on the whole, that a lot of us are not overall overly excited by that trailer. But it's not necessarily to say that the film is going to be bad. You can get some great trailers and terrible films, and terrible trailers and great films. So
I do like the promo for it. So like these here. So I like all the colours and
the
stylization.
The styling of the movie. I think obviously with the 80s being very colourful, being very neon, I think they can have a lot of fun with that, and I think they are having a lot of fun with the way that it currently looks, the aesthetic of it, which is nice. I think the set designs and stuff like that look good. But there's a lot of things at the minute doing a lot of 80s kind of stuff. So it's a hot topic, I think, at the minute. So I think that they're getting into it at the right time. But it seems to be working with a lot of audiences. So we'll see, I guess.
Cool. So let's go on to Suicide Squad. So this is James Gunn directing it. It's intended to be a sort of soft reboot and a sort of standalone sequel to the first film. So this one's getting released next year on the 6th of August. So it wasn't a full trailer, but it was a sort of behind the scenes reel of the making of. So what did you think of that, Sancho?
Oh, it was. I didn't see the. I only saw the teaser, which was like where they showed each actor in their costume. Was that the one?
Yeah, so that was it was a blended thing. So what they did is on the actual panel they showed the teaser, the promos for each character and who the characters were going to be as the initial, and then later on in the panel they showed just some kind of like behind the scenes kind of footage of everything going off, but it was like interspersed with some edited shots and stuff like that. So it was a bit of a sizzle reel kind of thing, really. It was it was interesting.
Oh. Yeah, but the teaser that I saw was a great introduction, because it's really cool seeing the actors as their characters, and I thought that they looked great. And
so we've got there's quite a lot, isn't there, with this?
I trust James. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a lot.
Yeah, I also liked what's his face? Oh my God, the one who played the 12th Doctor.
Peter Capaldi.
I forgot his name. Yeah, Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
I liked his look as the Tinker. That was great.
Cool. And what do you have any expectations for this new film?
I think James Gunn's gonna hit a home run with this one too. I trust his work.
Yeah, cool. BC?
I'm 50-50 with it. Just for the fact that the last Suicide Squad movie, they kind of did the same thing, introduced the squad, and we were kind of hyped for that team, and then it was just kind of underwhelming when the movie came out. I do like this team better. I like that James Gunn has taken over. Idris Elba, I'm kind of surprised that he's not the character people thought he was gonna be, because like he was gonna be supposedly Bronze Tiger. He was gonna be, I think, like 2 other guys, but it's kind of interesting his character is gonna go. I could kind of see where the plot's gonna go with this. I feel like it's such a big team that I feel like it's gonna be split in half at some point in the movie, and we're gonna really see who's really part of the team at the end of the movie. One last thing, I'm also happy that Harley Quinn's in this movie, just because I feel like she thrives better in team up movies than movies that she's the main star. I think in Birds of Prey, it kind of showed the weakness that, like, if she tries to carry a movie, she really can't. But in Suicide Squad, she actually gets a chance to shine because she has so many other characters that she could just bounce off of. So to me, I'm 50-50. I'm gonna go with low expectations, but I think it'll be a decent movie.
Cool. And do you have any expectations for what you want to see in the film?
I want to see King Shark have. I feel like King Shark's just there to be just a novelty, like Killer Croc, and I hope they don't have the same roles, like where Killer Croc was just there just to be there, like be the monster of the group. So I don't want King Shark to be this version's Killer Croc. I hope he has, a nice storyline connected with the rest of them, and I just want a good story out of this, because like Suicide Squad, you could go so deep with like that group. And so many villains, and with Amanda Waller and everything, that like you have so much to work with. And I hope they like take advantage of everything and just try to make the best possible movie, because this is pretty much like take 2 for them. And if they don't do good, then where do they go?
Yeah. Cool. Andy?
So I think the King Shark stuff, I think he's going to be quite integral to it because of the fact that there's a game coming out that he's also a face of, which says to me that he's potentially, they're boosting him up. With this, it's really weird because I don't think I've ever been as excited for a film that I've hated the first one as much as this. Like, I think the first Suicide Squad is absolute garbage, but I think this, like, you're giving basically a absolute sandbox and this great cast of characters and these kind of wacky characters to somebody like James Gunn, who thrives in that sort of situation. Like, he's bringing in some of his favorite people, and half of these people are going to die. Like, and I think the first Suicide Squad, you came out of it going, no one's really expendable. Like, it's a bit like the Expendables, where they're called Expendables, but the only person who dies is Liam Hemsworth's brother. Or is it Liam Hemsworth? Like, they're not expendable.
Yeah, it's not Chris Hemsworth.
The Suicide Squad are not the Suicide Squad. You have Slipknot die, but they're all fine. Like, at no point do you ever feel like they're in danger. With this, you've got people like Nathan Fillion, who I think is gone literally early doors. Like, he's here as his obligatory James Gunn cameo. You've got all these people in there that I think you're going to end up with like 4 or 5 left. And, I think potentially you could lose people like Idris Elba, who you might think, they'll last. But actually, I think James Gunn's not afraid to go, if you want me to make this work, let me make it work. Like, I think basically my impression was I was gutted because I thought we'd get a trailer. I thought we'd get an actual kind of trailer instead of this behind the scenes thing. But I also came out of it going, I feel they're just going to let him play around with this as he wants. And I think if you do that, you've got something good. If they start messing about with it, then you've got problems.
Yeah, I agree. And what expectations do you have, Andy?
I'm trying to keep them low. I'm trying to basically, like, because I know what the first one was and I understand this is like a soft reboot, I'm trying to keep them low so that I go in and I can be happy. Yeah. But the problem is, like, I really want this to work because I just really like the characters of the Suicide Squad as well. Like, I think it's one of the better New 52 runs is the Suicide Squad run. and I really wanted to work. So I think they're slowly creeping up the further we go.
Yeah. Alex.
Well, look, I'm not a comic book fan, so I'm not going to start saying that I know about the New 52 run and everything. That's Andy's realm. But I also hated the first Suicide Squad movie. I thought it was awful. And it's nice to see that the best thing from that is coming back in Jai Courtney. That's not even a joke. I really liked him in that film. For the first time in maybe any of his on-screen appearances, I really loved him in that film. This looks like maybe James Gunn's the correct person to have on board. I think the David Ayer version was maybe too mean-spirited and cynical. And I think maybe approaching this with a degree of lightheartedness as well as that cynical edge will work better, because the first one just felt a bit too, I don't know, it just felt like it was geared one way only, and then it just didn't divert from that. And you just go, I'm just numbed by that at the end. So this, I mean, I'm not necessarily excited for it, because I just think, behind the scenes footage of them shooting the movie and everyone saying, oh, James Gunn's the best director I've ever worked with, and this is the greatest project I've ever worked on. I've heard that all before for worse films than Suicide Squad the first time round, So I think it's a case of, it's a puff piece. It's very much promo work. And I'm still really tentative about it. I think I'm sitting on the fence. I'm 50-50 with it. It could go one way, but if they manage to mess it up, I mean, I've got no real interest in this yet, but maybe by the time we get a trailer, and I think the trailer thing is maybe because they're trying to work out how to market this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they obviously had that sort of crisis of confidence with the last one where they marketed it in like 3 different ways. And it just felt like by the end of it, you went, so have I watched a music video or what?
Yeah.
And, I can't sign on for that for another 2 hours.
Yeah. Cool. Cheers, mate. Aaron.
Yeah, I agree that about Suicide, the first one, I think it was complete garbage. And I think I didn't like the Joker, the way their interpretation of the Joker, I thought was just off. I just felt it was really too much on the nose. I wasn't a fan of that. Also, I feel like a lot of the DCs, the only direction is up, right? I mean, I don't know if they could screw it up any more than they did the first one. So, but I did like the list of characters, how they had them all presented and everything. And I do agree that it's going to be there's going to be a lot of characters that are going to be killed off, almost like maybe not as comical or as fast as X-Force from Deadpool, but maybe something's going to be killed off. I definitely like the actors that are there. I mean, I like Nathan Fillion and John Cena. I think that James Gunn is perfect director for this. I think, and I also like Idris Elba to replace Will Smith. I'm not a Will Smith fan, so I like that. I think actually, I don't know. I feel like a lot that goes into Will Smith, but I don't like. I really am not a fan of Will Smith. Sorry, but Idris Elba, I love him. I think he's fantastic. So, yeah,
cool. And
I disagree with everything BC said.
Come on, man.
I like being last so that I could disagree with everything BC said. I just write it down.
And
yeah, so I mean, a lot of the things that I agree with and disagree with have already been said. I think from the look of the backstage footage, it actually looks like they are, like kind of what Andy said, it looks like they are letting James Gunn have a little bit more free reign, because it actually does look a little bit chaotic and a little bit mad, which is exactly where he thrives and where he does his best work. I am very much looking forward to this. Everyone was disappointed with what we got in the last outing of Suicide Squad. So I think everyone should go into this with a degree of caution, because I think it was the second trailer to the last Suicide Squad was probably one of the best trailers that I can remember. within any DC movie, and that got everyone so unbelievably hyped. And then we got what we got, which was extremely disappointing. So I suppose it goes into what I said about Wonder Woman and trailers in general. Really, don't judge a movie just by its trailer. But with this, I am quite looking forward to what direction they're going to go into. I do agree that probably half, if not more, are going to die within the first half of the movie, simply because of the amount of people on display there. There's no way you can carry that many names, that many people throughout the entire film and keep it coherent, because it would just be madness. So I think they will have a lot of fun with that, but I do think that's where a lot of the comedy is going to be, is within the deaths of these characters, because they are going to be playing lovable rogues, whether or not you love them or not. But I think a lot of the comedy out of this movie is going to come from the deaths. So I'm looking forward to it. I am apprehensive about it, but I have faith in James Gunn. And Heather, just so you know, did anyone like Leto as Joker? Yes, I did. But less said about that, the better, because I get bullied every time that I say it. So I'll let Nick go now.
So yeah, this one intrigues me, and I think it's just more so because of James Gunn and how he can handle these type of films. So I think a lot of weight is probably on his head, but I think Warner Brothers have probably given him free reign to sort of do what he wants and give his ideas, and that's probably why he's sort of taken this on board to do this film. There's a lot of characters in there. I think just echoing what all of you guys have said, I think majority of them are going to get booted off pretty early. So I'll be intrigued to see who are the sort of final team of the film. I think similar to BC, I'm intrigued about King Shark and how they're sort of going to develop him and how he's going to sort of be portrayed in the film. Overall, I think it's still going to be a film that I'm going to be watching in the cinema, regardless of whether it's crap or not. It'll have me intrigued to make me go and pay my money at the cinema. So yeah, overall, from what I've seen so far, it looks okay. But yeah, I want to see a trailer and a few more things before I decide whether it looks good or not. But Harley Quinn, I like the look of her. They've changed her up a bit. So I do like the look that they've done with Harley in this one.
Yeah, she looks more in line with the Arkham games, doesn't she? Which is, I think, a lot of people will recognize that to the other looks that she's had, especially in like Birds of Prey. I mean, I'm not too sure what kind of look they gave her for Birds of Prey, but less said about that, the better, I think.
Yes. Right. Okay. So this is the Snyder Cut time.
Oh, we're jumping into the big guns. Big guns.
Yeah. So we've got the Snyder Cut. So it's getting released in May 2021. So it's going to be based off a series. So potentially a 4-hour version. Yeah. So we've got our first look at what is potentially going to be in the series. So
this is going to be so split. I feel like there's going to be chaos in this one.
So Sancho, before you nip to the toilet, let us know what you think of the film. The trailer, sorry.
The trailer. I didn't like it. God, the tone, the song, what was it? Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I felt like it didn't go with it. And I seriously only watched like 10 seconds of it and I shut it off. Like, really? After Batman versus Superman, like I blame like the Warner Brothers executives, especially Kevin Tsujihara, who just the only reason that they rushed that film is because during that time Warner Brothers was being bought by AT&T and they wanted their bonuses. So instead of just like after Snyder wanted to take a break because of his family tragedy, they should have just gone back and just remade that movie from scratch. They should just taken a break because like at that time, like the franchise like just looked like crap. Like I thought that they shouldn't have given it to Snyder. I mean, he's a great director visually, but story wise, like, nah. Like the Justice League is supposed to like inspire hope, not like darkness. You know, that's my 2 cents.
So what was your sort of expectations of the Snyder Cut?
I will probably check it out to see like you know, to compare like the behind the scenes stories and to see like, okay, why was this bad? But as far as like expectations, I have none.
Interesting. BC, what's your thoughts?
I saw the whole panel where like he brought the Justice League to ask him questions. Snyder plays this type of guy where he's loved. He has a big following. We wouldn't get this movie if it wasn't for Snyder fans, you know, protesting this movie for years in Comic-Cons and everywhere else. Then like Aaron showed me a tweet that somebody was talking about, like, you know, his movie where he said, well, this movie's for grown-ups, you know, yada yada yada. Like he has a big chip on his shoulder. You know, he has a real big chip. As for the trailer, the DC fan in me enjoys seeing Darkseid. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Darkseid, I was like, this is cool. 4-hour movie on HBO Max, cool. You know, the visuals are gonna be amazing. But I want to see what does his story is different from what Whedon had to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, or is this just gonna be deleted scenes put together? Or is this gonna be, you know, a lot of stuff that was deleted out? And we did see a lot of stuff in the teaser trailer that, you know, didn't see in the movie at all, you know? So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, Saturday, I wasn't a fan of it, but I watched it again yesterday and I said, you know what? I'll give him the benefit. I think 4 hours, turn it into episodes where like, that's what I think they're gonna go with. I think we could watch it in bits and pieces like that. The Hallelujah, I think the reason that song went in, I think it's because his daughter, that was like her favorite song, his daughter who passed away. So I think it has like, the song has a meaning to it. So like the song doesn't bother me. I think the song has like a deeper meaning into like Hallelujah that, you know, we're getting the Snyder cut. So I think my final view is that I'll give him the benefit of that. I'll watch it. And then I got to see before I could, you know, go what else I could say about it.
Cool. And what did you have a favorite moment in the trailer?
Superman in the black suit, man. I wanted him with the mullet. I told Aaron, I was like, I want the mullet. They didn't get the mullet, but I do like the black suit. I do like seeing Darkseid. I don't know how much we're gonna get of him because I've heard that he's not really like Darkseid full potential with like the suit and everything. He's just you know, in the beginning stages. But yeah, those two moments I like. The black suit was nice sight to see, you know, because I think Superman deserves better in this like DCEU. That just seeing him get some type of shine is great, you know.
Cool. So, Andy.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
So like, I feel we could have an extended conversation about this, but like I watched the entire panel and it was one of the most turgid experiences of my life. Like, I get the fact that you want to have the Snyder Cut. Like, I get the fact that people want this, but the positive is it looks like more Justice League. So those people who like Justice League and wanted more of it, you're getting it. But it looks terrible. Like, you've got, and I'm taking a slight at the way that Darkseid looks, but I understand I've got time to fix it. But I think, Alex, did you say this comes out in February?
May, I think.
May.
It was supposed to be February when they announced it, but I think they've delayed it till May now. Okay, because they need to shoot more material for it.
And the fact that he looks like a PS1 graphics villain, like,
yeah, it looks like he's in Parappa the Rapper.
But you know, like, and I watched this panel, and basically what it was a line of people kneeling down to suck Snyder's dick. Like, that's what it was. And I think Alex made the perfect point where he said, you know, the fact that Snyder is moderating this makes it look like he's there just like, hey, new person, come in, tell me how great I am and how this is the savior of movies. Like, and then when you show me the thing, and it's basically just everything we've seen before with a couple of extra bits, and I'm just like, I just do not see the appeal of this. Like, it's 4 hours of a movie that I didn't like in the first place, and it's going to be basically just pandering to those people who've basically just shot down everybody, just like, so everybody who's gone against the film has just been like, oh, you know, you don't get it, you don't know Snyder's. Like somebody was like, oh, when I watched Justice League, she was like, this didn't have Snyder's filmmaking etiquette or something like that. And I was like, no, it looked exactly like Sucker Punch. Like, I've seen this film. Like, I just don't, like, I understand that you love it, Nikki, and I understand you're going to have a great time, and I understand I'm going to have to watch it, but I also understand that I'm probably going to hate every moment of it.
Was there anything that you liked in the trailer?
It ended. Like, so I see what you're saying about the Leonard Cohen thing, and it might have, you know, a link back to his daughter or whatever, but it doesn't fit the tone of the trailer. Like, it doesn't fit the tone of what you're trying to go with. I don't know. I want Snyder to do well, but at the same time,
No, you don't.
I love Man of Steel. Like, I love Man of Steel. I think it's a wonderful film. But I also think that maybe Snyder doesn't understand. Maybe he doesn't understand Batman or anything like that, because I think Batman vs Superman is poor for somebody with that kind of filmmaking style and that much material to have failed that movie so bad, and then you have to rely on extended cuts to actually try and repair it, and then you're doing the same with Justice League. Like, and the other thing is this film, like, sorry, I realize that I'm just kind of ranting a little bit, but like, this trailer summed up to me completely what is wrong with DC as a whole, which is that the end of this trailer, you get the line where Flash is like, oh, this guy's been to many planets before and he's killed everyone, and Batman's like, yeah, but he hasn't fought us united. What you got to think is, at this point, they aren't united because we've not had any kind of build up to this. Like, this is your Justice League, this is your Avengers equivalent, and Darkseid is your Thanos equivalent, and it just shows to me how rushed this entire thing has been. That, you know, I'm now going to have to sit for 4 hours, but I'm going to have to remember, like, Aquaman isn't as good as the Aquaman that we've seen in it as well. And like I say, for me, it's just an absolute mess. And the panel was one of the worst things I've ever watched. Like, it is horrible.
Alex?
So what did you like from it, Andy? No, look, so I watched the whole panel. I'd watched the trailer first and then I watched the full panel. And it is a 25-minute long self-suck by Zack Snyder.
That term, self-suck.
Yeah. And the problem that I've got with it is, like I said, like the thing being moderated by him did just feel like he was kind of going, hey, look, I've returned and I'm going to save this whole franchise now. And it's all because of me, and aren't I great? And I think that's where my problem with Hallelujah came in, was that after 25 minutes of everyone telling him how great he was, playing Hallelujah over your song makes me think you are the second coming of Christ. And believe me, I've seen enough Zack Snyder films to know you're not. You know, and I'll defend some of his work, not all of it, but some of it. Okay, I like Dawn of the Dead. His Dawn of the Dead is fine, but we'll save that for another time. Don't worry. But this, so I appreciate. Look, the first film was what, 2 hours long? I think the what we ended up with in cinemas for Justice League was 2 hours long. So we're looking at another 2 hours of footage here. I know this isn't for me because I didn't like the first 2 hours we got. And I'm not going to say, oh, that's only because Joss Whedon directed some of it, because that clearly wasn't the case. I didn't like any of it. And even if it had made sense and felt like it was a narrative story that actually bonded together, I still probably wouldn't have liked it. It didn't have any of those issues to contend with because it wasn't a narrative story that felt like it had any drive to it. It just felt like, here's some shots of some people doing a thing, and that's it for 2 hours. Fine, whatever, but it's just not for me. And I watched this trailer and I just thought, this feels like I'm watching the first trailer for the first movie all over again. Except you've shown me some unfinished special effects from what I can tell. And I'm just not into it. If there's anything I like from the trailer, no, I don't think there is. The thing is, I know I'll end up watching it because I do this fucking podcast, you know. But I think that's the reason that I will watch it, and I'm sure I will not enjoy it, but I'm open to being surprised, but I just don't see it happening based on the evidence of that trailer.
Interesting. Aaron.
Yeah, I echo what Alex and Andy says, and I think Snyder is a little bit up his own ass, and you could tell by the way he was being interviewed, and it was like Alex said, a suck fest. And I'm hoping that the Snyder cut is going to have enough footage to make a difference. I think that's which is what BC said, and I agree, because it's just, you can only shine a turd so much, and then and it just extending it is just going to be just a glorified version with deleted scenes, and it's just going to be some sort of Frankenstein cut. Who knows? But it's going to be more of a lot that I don't want. But we'll see. I'm more of a mustache guy than I am a mullet guy. So I would have liked him with a mustache the whole time and just strip that whole CGI strip stuff out of the way and just have it be the mustache. I would have loved to see that version more than I would a Snyder version, a mustache version. Have you? But I do agree with Andy as far as like, yeah, the versions have been, this version, it's a tone, if there's a word, maybe tonally retarded. And hopefully this after this whole thing is done, especially with Matt Reeves and everything, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, that we will know that, you know what, we want a little bit more seriousness in our DC movies, more Nolan-esque type movies. You know, I think Joker proves that. But anyway, we'll see it. Hopefully this will be the nail in the coffin, and we say, hey, you know what, we learned from this lesson, let's move forward. So
And was there anything that you liked that you saw?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, Superman with a black suit, but that might be a little too late. You know, what is it? A little bit late.
Yeah, too little, too late.
So we'll see how that comes out. It might be something that's like shoehorned in. It might be a little bit contrived. Who knows? But I'm hopefully it'll be something that adds to the story. Not, hey, look at me, I'm in a black suit. Oh, great! Now you're punching in a black suit. Hey, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Cool. And
yeah, so I have mixed feelings about the trailer, really, and it's mainly because of my initial feelings about the original or the first movie that we got, because I wanted so much, and I still kind of do like that movie in dribs and drabs. I'm not going to say that I like the entire stuff, because a lot of it is chopped and a lot of it is, it's quite clearly poorly put together, and it's like, it's not just that for people that are looking for it, it's visibly noticeable that it has been chopped to shit and then put together again. But the idea of the Justice League is one that I am so in favor of, and have been for ever since I was a little boy. I mean, the idea of these characters coming together makes me want a movie like this, no matter the situation, no matter if we get the first time round, no matter if we get a do-over like we've got this time. It makes me want it to work so badly that I'm willing to just go. I'm willing to support it purely because of the fan in me. And I will say, I'll be the first to say that I have overlooked a lot of crap all throughout all of DC. Really, I've overlooked a lot of crap simply because I like DC. I like the characters. Going into this trailer, though, so opening with Darkseid, I thought was a very bold thing to do. But I think that I understand why they would do it, because he says it's almost kind of Zack Snyder basically saying he always existed in my in my film. Look, I'll show you straight away, and there he was. I do like the whole Omega sign being kind of like organically built into his chest rather than it just being on a suit. So the aesthetic of Darkseid I quite like, even though that I don't think we'll get much of him in the movie at all. The thing that I think I had the biggest issue of about this I find it hard to call this trailer a trailer because I don't feel like it was a trailer. It was more literally just let's take out what was supposed to be in this movie all along and just throw that in your face to show you that, look, you didn't see that. Look, you didn't see that. Look, you didn't see that. So it was just kind of like spoon feeding you what you are going to see rather than putting a coherent trailer, which is what you would expect for a promotion from a movie. I think it's hard to put a standard trailer out there for a movie that's already in existence. So I understand why they may have just kind of got new footage and kind of threw it in your face. But it just felt a little bit like, look what I've got, look what I've got, look what I've got, look what I've got. You've not seen that before. You've not seen that before. Maybe that'll entice you to come in, which felt a little bit weird for me. Hallelujah was again, and I think that's down to the panel. That I was texting Andy whilst watching this panel, and it probably, I mean, I've seen all of Tarantino's movies, and this was the most self-indulgent thing I've seen. And that includes I won't even go into it actually because Caboose will kill me. But yeah, it was cringeworthy, really, and it sours the taste of it, no matter how you're going into it, because you're going through all of this panel going, Jesus, come on, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then it goes, all right, here's the trailer, and you kind of like, I almost don't want to watch it simply because I just think you're a dick now. But yeah, I think Hallelujah was also in. He's got a bit of a fetish around this Hallelujah because it's also in Watchmen, which is a weird. It was in Watchmen when Night Owl and is banging in the spaceship, isn't it? In the whatever it is. Yeah. So I think he really likes that version of Hallelujah. But yeah, overall, 4 hours of it, I'm going to watch it. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I think I want it to be better than I think it's going to be. I really want it to live up to the promise of it is a completely different movie. I find it hard that you're going to get a completely different movie when we kind of know what the ending's already going to be. So unless everything in the middle is very, very different, I find it hard to believe that claim of a completely different movie is going to be lived up to. But the fan in me wants this to work so much that I'm willing to even get the subscriptions to HBO Max when it comes out over here just to watch it. Whether that makes me a bad or a good person, I would leave down to Andy and Alex to make that judgment of. But yeah, I will watch it simply because I'm a fan, not because I think that it might be any better than what we had. Nick.
Cool. So for me, I thought that this was going to be the trailer that I was going to like the most from that weekend, and it was the one that I was sort of looking forward to the most, and it wasn't my favorite trailer. And I think quite a lot of you have echoed similar thoughts. So I'm the same. I want to see this version just to see how different it is. But I was expecting a trailer, not a sort of snapshot of different scenes. I wanted to see a sort of story from it, and I didn't get that. And I think it was more of a personal thing for Zack Snyder rather than a trailer for the fans. But yeah, I think that there's things in there that intrigue me. So I think stuff like this character, that intrigues me to see what's happening with that, and then the Flash where he's in this area where he was running. So there's a lot of things in there that intrigue me to see how that fits in with the story, and does it go in a different arc. And I know they've talked about Cyborg was supposed to be the sort of heart of the movie. So yeah, it's a film that intrigues me in terms of I want to see his vision because it's been talked about that much. And the hype is there. I didn't really like the first one, but yeah, it's one that I want to watch, but it wasn't my favorite for the trailers that I saw at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Next one.
One more
Yeah.
on that.
Sure, of course.
Like the one thing I forgot to say, like one of my biggest problems with this is the fact of how it's being angled. Of this kind of what we need to remember is when Justice League came out, the reason Zack Snyder left that project was because of a personal tragedy. But the script was written, the direction was written, everything was decided. They brought Joss Whedon in to kind of, bring in a little bit of kind of juice and make it, maybe make it a little bit funnier, and give that Marvel magic. But everything was basically set in stone. And the studio still put that out. If the studio didn't think that film was good, they would never have put it out. Like, the studio didn't think that film worked, they never would have put it out. Now it's been angled by both Warner Brothers and HBO. Oh, this is finally the time you get to see what you should have seen in the first place. This is you seeing Zack Snyder's vision. You're finally getting to see what he's done. But that's not right, because we've seen his vision. What we're seeing now is the studio pandering to a lot of people going, oh, we want to see kind of what you're saying is supposed to have happened. And also, we can now sell a lot of subscriptions to HBO. And I think that's probably the most dishonest thing about this whole situation, that this isn't because Zack Snyder had a vision that, you didn't get to see. It's that they can actually just now edit things and make it seem like he did.
So you think it's more about the movement than it is about anything else?
100%. Yeah, that is 100% about. It's about money. It's about money. The Justice League didn't make enough money. They're thinking they're making an educated gamble that if they give Zack Snyder X amount of money, they can make this much back through HBO subscriptions and through potential future sellings of DVDs or whatever. It's an educated gamble by Warner Brothers to go, we can actually make money because the first product didn't sell well. But let's not kid ourselves that first Justice League wasn't Zack Snyder's vision.
Yeah.
If anyone's got the original Justice League on DVD or Blu-ray, I would keep a hold of that because that's going to become an antique soon. So it might be worth a bit of money in the future. So, don't throw it away just yet.
Cool. Let's go on to the Flash. So this one is going to be released 3rd of June, 2022. So it's Andre Muschietti, and obviously there's been the announcement as well of Affleck and Keaton jumping on. So Sancho, do you want to start us off with what you thought of the panel and the concept art that they discussed, and Affleck returning?
Oh, yeah. First of all, the costume on the Flash, that's I loved it. I didn't like the Justice League armor. It seemed to be like if you're gonna use the armor, it should be for like a battle, like say like a dark side takeover. Then I would believe like, well, maybe the Flash wants something like that. But I love that, that smooth look, the way that he has it in the comic books. Also, Ben Affleck returning as Batman is pretty cool. I think they're gonna do like maybe a course correction on the whole Justice League universe, because maybe that might be his last appearance, and he might want to go out with with a bang instead of just like with a whimper.
What do you want to see from what do you want to see from the Flash?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah,
a great story. Also, I'm actually giddy about Michael Keaton coming back as like a older Bruce Wayne Batman.
Cool. BC.
Yep.
Flash, to me, he's my favorite out of the Justice League. So I'm still not won over with Ezra, because to me Ezra doesn't play Barry. I feel like he plays more Wally. But I'll let it go. I'll just, let's see what he could do with his first movie. With Affleck, it was big news. I was happy to hear that, because I felt like, to me, the whole rumor about Affleck's going to get his own HBO Max show, I never believed that. I always knew that he was going to try to go into like one more movie, do like just get a nice send off. And I think this Flash movie will be it. Keaton, to me, I think it's a build up for Batman Beyond. I think he's going to be an older Batman. I think DC has plans to bring in Terry McGinnis in the future. So I think they could go with that route. And I'm just happy it's not Flashpoint. I just felt like Flashpoint was way too early to do like in this movie. I think this movie should be about Barry finally like understanding the Speed Force, seeing what his powers could do, not him going back into like Flashpoint and all this stuff going on. And I think with Ben Affleck, I think Ben will like his Batman will help out Barry in a certain way, and Keaton is going to get the baton to like be there for Barry. So I think all around, I think it's going to be good. Then they got something good set up.
Cool. And what is it that you want to see mainly?
I want to see is that the Flash is the key to the whole DC universe. I think DC needs to understand that Flash has the power to like anything they mess up, they could fix with the Flash. Any type of Flash, he could go like do the Speed Force, but go back in time, erase this, do that. I just want them to use him to like his like best advantages of like he could be a big part of the DC universe. And I just hope Ezra Miller could like understand that and hopefully like, carry that Flash, character, because I just feel like he's a big key into the whole DC. So
cool.
Fingers crossed.
Andy.
I've kind of got no feelings one way or the other with this one. Like, basically, I think I'll be surprised it comes out. Like, it's been through more directors than Gambit currently. Andy Muschietti made a really good It Chapter 1 and a terrible It Chapter 2. So you've got a director who can do good. Ezra Miller is fine, but I don't really like his Barry Allen. It's one of those I'm just like, yeah, it's going to happen. I'll watch it because of course I will. But yeah, it's fine. Sure, put it on.
And is there anything that you want to see with the Flash film?
The problem with Flash is that most of this good and interesting stuff was done in the series and pretty much done in series 1, which was the good time of that series. Like, stuff of him his desperate need to kind of try and strive to save his mother. It's a really great storyline. I'm like, am I just going to get that again on the big screen? Probably. Like, at the moment, Grant Gustin's a better Flash for me. Like, if I wanted to watch it, I'd just, sit through 90 hours of the CW again.
Cool. Alex?
Yeah, so I'm 95% convinced that this film will never come out. I mean, we've passed its original and I think revised release date maybe 3 times now. And it kind of feels like this is the movie where we're always building up to it. And it's always, oh, well, there's this new news about, Flash got a new director or someone's dropped out of the production. We've now not got his dad in it and we're going to have to recast him. And then it kind of feels like, okay, we're back to square one again. Mm-hmm. And then finally they get Andy Muschietti on board just after I think he's made his worst film. And I'm like, the thing is, Andy Muschietti has the ability to be a very good director. I think the possibility is he needs to be reined in sometimes, because It Chapter 2 felt like, oh, okay, this is a film that has had no one, in the same way that a Tarantino film has no one saying no to him. It kind of felt like with that first It Chapter 1, he'd built up that good grace with the studio, and Warners were like, hey, we'll let you do whatever you want with the second one. That's not always a good idea. And my worry is with The Flash is that you've now got a director who may have a great idea for it. I don't know. It's very hard to tell from this 5-minute conversation they had. I watched it and I just kind of went, it's a load of fluff. And he and Ezra Miller probably have never met yet, because this all got confirmed during lockdown. I think that he'd take it over, and you kind of feel like, is this combination working? I've never been a fan of Ezra Miller in these DC films. I just don't think I don't know. I don't really know the character of the Flash that well, but I don't like what they're doing with it so far. But hey, it could be great. I'm positive it's never going to come out at this point.
Cool. Aaron?
Yeah, the concept art is okay. It reminds me a little bit of the CGI Green Lantern outfit a little bit, which I'm hoping it stays away from that. Mm-hmm. At first, I did like the Ezra casting, but definitely, you had to compare it to the TV Flash, which I agree. I think the first few seasons I liked, but I haven't seen the last few seasons. But the first few seasons I did like. I thought that it was good. But as far as this one, I love the Flash. I think the character's really great. I like I don't know. I kind of like Barry and Wally just about. I like them the same. They're both different, but I like them both the same. And I agree. Ezra's more of a Wally, a little bit stumbly, a little bit comical, whatever. He's more of like a and he's the way that Ezra's portraying him. But the as far as the concept art, whatever, I mean, hopefully they have a good script. I mean, he does have godlike powers. He could stop time, basically, go back in time. Yeah. And, but as long as I see Ezra get drunk and start body slamming people, I'm all for it.
I'm sure you can find that on YouTube already.
It'll be like who wants to get choked out by Ezra. Are you excited for Affleck and Keaton coming in?
I'm excited for Keaton.
Okay.
So I'm 50 on that.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. I'm one of the not so popular opinions that Affleck wasn't my favorite or not. I always thought, oh, there's Ben Affleck. I don't see Bruce Wayne. And I think we'll talk about Batman later. But as far as Keaton, he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite Batman. So Kim coming along, hopefully they don't give him cheesy lines to say, and that they give him something good to work with. Hopefully it's not just going to be just something that he could sink his teeth in. I'm hopefully that they don't make an embarrassment of it, because I think he left off on a good note, Batman. So
yeah, cool. And
yeah, concept art I'm a fan of. I had the very same thoughts as Aram about it looking kind of like the Green Lantern suit. Obviously, with the concept art, it's going to look like that because it's a bit CG. I agree. I do not want it to be CG. I think they should stay away from it. So I hope it is an actual suit rather than CG. It just feels a little bit more Flash-like. Like I said, it feels more streamlined. It feels slicker, smoother. Much better than what we had in the in his previous suit. So yeah, I'm really on board with that. I think I'm a little bit kind of like torn about what I want from this Flash movie, simply because Flashpoint gives us a perfect opportunity to undo every crap outing that we've had with DC so far. It gives us a chance to kind of go, we get it, we failed, we messed up, but the good thing about it is the fact that we have this character that allows us to correct that and fix it. But at the same time, and then that annoys me, because one of the things I don't like is just using something like that to fix the crap just so you can get more money in. So I'm kind of torn over it, really. In the panel, they did say that this movie is going to be really, really important for the future of DC, and the Flash's character in this movie is going to be extremely important for what goes on in the future. So it makes me think that there is going to be some sort of Flashpoint-esque kind of storyline, because it is a very important thing that happens. So I'm very, very excited, because I really like the Flash. I really hope this movie comes out, because I do have the reservations about the fact that it keeps on being cancelled and restarted and directly fired and rehired and stuff like that. So yeah, I want it to come out. But yeah, I'm just unsure as to what storyline I would prefer for it, because of my own personal preferences. Keaton and Affleck, Keaton is Batman, really, for me. Like, he is Batman. I love Affleck as Batman. Maybe he's an older Bruce Wayne, and I think I agree with BC what you said about bringing Keaton back. I do think that they are kind of setting up Batman Beyond then, and I think that would be quite an interesting thing to jump into. But I think I read, I don't know how true this is, but I think I read that Affleck only agreed to come on if they change some of the existing kind of story that they already had. So he had some kind of physical input into what the story is going to be for this movie. How true that is, I don't know, but it makes me think, it echoes kind of what you guys said, that he will probably get the send off that he wanted, because he knows he's probably not going to be in anything else going forward. So he gets the opportunity to kind of write himself out the best way possible. But yeah, we'll see. I think this is another one. As Flash is one of the fan favorites for everyone. Really, it's going to do well at the box office, regardless whether it's good or bad. That much is for sure, I think. So yeah, I think it will do well, and I just hope we get a good story out of it. But I'm a fan. If we're going off what we had from the panel, the main thing was the concept art. I'm a fan of the concept art.
Cool. I like the concept art, but the director worries me. I turned off it too after 10 minutes. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it too. Like Aaron, I think with Keaton coming back, I'm very excited, but I don't want him made a parody of and forcing him to say I'm Batman and stupid stuff like that. I want them to take him seriously and get him in there and do show him as a proper Batman and not just a parody, just to say, oh, here's Keaton, just to please people. Affleck, I'm happy because I like Affleck, so I think it'll be the more Batman the better for me. So I'm a big Batman fan, so I'll be intrigued to see what they do with it. But yeah, I'm a bit iffy with the Flash. I think, like Alex said, it's one that's had so many problems with the film. It's just each director keeps coming back with creative differences and things keep happening, and I'm surprised Ezra's still on after the choking incident. So we'll see what happens after that. But again, it's a film that I'm going to watch, and I think it'll be, if it does happen, I think it'll be a big one because of the likes of Keaton and Affleck and the others coming back. So yeah, it's definitely one to watch for me. Cool. So next one is Black Adam. So this is going to be released on 24th of December, 2021. Sancho, what do you think of this?
I've been waiting for this for years. You can't have any more perfect casting as Black Adam as The Rock. Like, I just can't wait. I'm pumped. And he's very like enthusiastic about it, so it makes me feel like, hey, like we're gonna see something.
I know there
cool.
wasn't much shown for it. I think there was like a few bits as he was talking. What do you think? What's your expectations for Black Adam?
I thought they were gonna show like maybe a little bit more like a live action shots, but I think that's still in pre-production.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I just wish
I don't
like
think any of it's been done.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish we would have saw like a little like a clip or something. But yeah.
Yeah. More of an announcement and just saying, yeah, what's going on and stuff like that. Cool. BC, what's your thoughts on Black Adam?
Rock is the perfect casting for Black Adam. Let me just say that first. But he spent 15 minutes in that panel trying to convince us that he's an anti-hero. Kept doing it over and over. I know when he signed on back in 2012, he kept saying, I want to bring Black Adam into this anti-hero. Right now, DC, to me, needs a top villain. And I think he's perfect for it. Sort of like how Black Panther had Michael B. Jordan, as being a popular villain where people got behind. I get that he's a live action hero. I get that he doesn't want to play a villain. I get all that. But whatever happened in the negotiation table, you could tell he has full control just for the fact that he didn't mention Shazam at all. He kept mentioning Superman. And what he doesn't understand is this. No matter how hard he tries with Superman, Rock needs to understand he's always going to be connected to Shazam. Always.
Yeah.
So whoever's in there, if it's Jim Lee or anybody else, need to sit Rock down and tell him, listen, I get that you want to get big players in like Henry Cavill, because I think they're both in the same, I think they both got same agents or whatever. I get all that. But he needs to bring up Shazam. This whole thing of I'm an anti-hero. I was getting so annoyed by it because it's just like, if he had it his way, he'd be a hero. And I think Rock right now, lately the last couple movies, he plays himself sort of like how Will Smith does. That I feel like this role, if he was to play a villain, will make Rock 10 times great. You know what I'm saying? I think it will like change like what people's perspective of him just being Rock playing Dwayne. But it just looks the same. I get, he's gonna be an anti-hero. I'm happy about Dr. Fate and Hawkman. I'm excited with that. But I'm not excited for the future. I feel like he's gonna try to like not have that Shazam battle and just go like, and it's gonna try to fight for having Superman and Black Adam. And with me, I'm not happy with that because it's like now it's just Rock taking over and Rock doing what he wants to do.
Yeah. Cool. Andy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think BZ absolutely nails it there. Like, I think DC are missing like that big villain role, and he could fill it. The problem is though, Rock was there 15 minutes, and The Rock is a movie star, man. Like, I watched that and I was just like, yes, I'm willing to go on an adventure with you wherever you want to go, Rock. Like, you take me to go see Black Adam. Like, I'll watch Black Adam eat a stew if I have to. Like, I'm down for this. Like, he's such a presence. Like, I understand he makes absolute chuff as films, but I will keep watching them because of him. He's such a draw. But the thing with this is I think like there is a really interesting story at the heart of Black Adam. This story of like the slave overcoming the oppressor, but also then you throw in like these other characters. Like, I think you absolutely nailed it. Like Hawkman in live action, Dr. Fate, like those characters look like they could be something really, really cool. Especially Dr. Fate. Like, I just think aesthetically he's such a really interesting character that to see him kind of on screen, I'm actually kind of more excited for him. But yeah, I think you're right though. He is definitely eyeing up kind of the big boys and going, I want to fight Superman. I don't want to fight, his main rival.
Yeah, definitely. Alex.
Yeah, so I didn't watch the panel, but I watched the concept trailer, the art thing, which, is fine, and I get what's going on. The thing is, Dwayne Johnson is the biggest movie star on the planet right now. And there's a reason that Jumanji movies make, close to, if not $1 billion. They're not the best movies. It's, there is a magnetic pull of Dwayne Johnson is a charismatic entertainer first and foremost, and has been for 25 years at this point. So I don't think you're going to cast someone like that and then not let him just be him in all of the promo work, all of the media duties, all of the movie as well. I think he's going to have potentially more of a say in terms of what they do with that film than anyone else is in any of these projects, because there's a reason he gets paid $25-30 million a movie every time, because he's going to bring you 800 million just from his name, let alone the fact that it's a DC property. So my big issue with it is, do you if it's perfect casting, great, but you've just got to maybe be careful about whether you have to rein in that aspect of he is bigger than the movie, which he is. It doesn't matter what movie he's in, he's bigger than the movie, because no one remembers Skyscraper as being the movie about the skyscraper. They remember it about Dwayne Johnson kicks a skyscraper. That's the thing that happens. I've not even seen the movie, and that's how I know it. So I think the problem is, if you've got a movie star who's bigger than your movie, you've just got to make sure that doesn't become like a spiraling thing of, hey, this is just The Rock's franchise now, and we're going to just build it around him. And if he leaves, we're screwed. But he'll never leave as long as they keep on paying him. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Smart. He's smart.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Aaron, what do you think?
What Alex said, I kind of felt about going back to Ben Affleck, where the actor is just bigger than the movie sometimes, where it's almost distracting, because there is a thing called let's hire an unknown. Let's get an unknown actor in that, because his celebrity is so distracting to that character. And I think that happens. And one of these things is I think with Rock also, I don't care about the Black Adam. As long as I'm entertained, I'm fine with that. So just like I was with Shazam, I enjoyed it. But part of Shazam is that I liked is that I didn't know that guy too well. Also, he's relatively unknown. I mean, I don't know the main character there, but I did like the movie. I thought it was well made. And then this one here too, you know, I'm just hoping to get an entertaining film that's that could that just that just makes it entertaining for both the because like Shazam, if it's similar to Shazam, I'm on board. And but I do agree with Alex that sometimes that does happen where the actor's bigger than the role he's playing outside of like his personal life or just his celebrity completely, like on camera or on screen or off screen. So but I don't know too much about Black Adam, so my expectations are very low. So
cool. And
so when The Rock was first talking about being Black Adam all those years ago and was confirmed that this was going to happen, and it's been God knows how long, I was super excited about it way back then, you know, building up to it now. And I echo what everyone's saying, though. He is perfect casting. Like if there is a perfect person to play Black Adam, you will not find anyone else better. I was throughout all of the panel, like I was on board, I was ready, I was going, and then right at the end, and he started to individually call out the Justice League. I mean, there's a little part of me, the little boy inside of me, kind of just went, yee! But then afterwards, I was kind of like, yeah, Shazam's not there at all. Like there was no, and I don't know whether or not it's done on purpose to throw you off, so that when it actually comes out and you know he is there as part of the as part of the movie, or whether or not he's going to be present in the new Shazam movie, whether it's been done purposefully just to kind of throw you off, I'm hoping. But you need to kind of stay true to the story that you're in, really. And whilst it would be cinematically breathtaking for Black Adam and The Rock more than anything to, you know, go up against the Justice League single-handedly, it's not what's supposed to happen. So that's the thing that kind of like worries me and concerns me a little bit about the movie. But as Andy said, I would the Rock is that much of a presence that you're going to go anywhere with him. I mean, he's not a good in terms of acting ability. He's not the best actor in the world. He's not going to know. He's not going to win Oscars for the best actor or anything like that. He gets by through how charismatic and how entertaining he is. So superhero, supervillain movie is a perfect choice. And I think it's crazy that it's been this long. It's taken him this long to actually jump into a role with a superhero or a supervillain nature. So I think you are going to get that presence and that well, yeah, the presence of a superhero / supervillain, anti-hero, whatever he wants to call himself in this. But I just don't want it to be at the detriment of the rest of the franchise or the rest or the film, for him having too much control over what he says, because he might have read comic books growing up, but he's no expert in it. He needs to listen to the experts around him. And what BC said there, if Jim Lee is there, you would assume that he is there. He needs to tap him on the shoulder and go, look, I don't care how big you are. I don't care how much money you get paid. I don't care how much of a presence. I mean, I'm not talking about in stature, but that as well. You know, you need to listen to the people that know, because if you don't and you demand all these things and the movie pisses off fans because of it, and then the rest of the whole story arc of the franchise of whatever we produce for DC and then is affected by that, that's on him. And I don't think that that's the right thing to do, simply because someone won't be able to say no to him.
Yeah. With the Black Adam, I'm not too familiar with the character, but I do love The Rock. But I think a lot of you have echoed the similar themes. I think with him being such a megastar, he can probably overshadow quite a lot. I think my concern is he will probably want to lean towards more the hero than the villain. And the issue that I have with The Rock, he is always The Rock, and he reminds me a bit of Jason Statham, of where they're very much the same in every single film, even in terms of look. But yeah, I think what I don't want it to be is a Fast and Furious Black Adam. I want it to look good and feel good. I want The Rock to look sort of different. I don't want him to look exactly the same, just with a suit on. Change him up a little bit. But yeah, I think I'd be excited to see Superman. But from what I've heard, like BC said, I think Shazam should be the matchup. But I think the money is Superman. I think bringing Cavill back is what's going to get the noise back, and with him being distanced and people craving for a Man of Steel 2, bringing him back will just be, it's more the money than the actual what the fans want and the story, etc. So but again, it's one that I'm going to watch, and The Rock's going to bring the cash regardless. So
can I just say that
Cool.
after you
Yeah.
just said Fast and Furious, I would love for Black Adam to be pulling up in a souped out Nissan Skyline with underglow lights, and that I think that might actually be an interesting concept there. You might be onto that something there, Nick.
flying across skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so on to the two games. So if we start with the Gotham Knights, Sancho, what did you think of what you saw with the Gotham Knights footage?
Well, one, like I'm not a big video game fan, but I like watching people play video games. And what the footage that I saw looked great. Like I'm like, man, I wish I had more time to play video games, because I love the world that they created.
What do you think? What do you think it being
Gotham
based on
Knights.
them sort of
Oh,
characters?
go ahead. Oh, I like the character designs. I think their suits are functional. Like, you know, they need armor, especially the Gotham Knights, because they're out there, you know, beating up thugs, and it's like, you know, one-on-one. Suicide Squad, like I like the character designs too, and I like the fact that you know they're gonna go up against the Justice League. So
Yeah.
pretty interesting to watch.
Cool. BC?
Well, I'm a homer, so I'm a huge Nightwing fan. So seeing him in the game, I was happy. I saw on Reddit that Gotham Knight is real split. Like people are not happy about it. I think it's like they were hyping up the Court of Owls like during the week. Like
Yeah.
you enter like a code on a website and stuff like that. So I think people were expecting a Batman Arkham type game, but people forget Arkham Knight was the ending. You know, like Rocksteady moved on from that, and like, you know, Warner Brothers Montreal said it from the beginning. We're moving away from the Arkham name. This is going to be a whole different game. The RPG style with the numbers on top of the players, I get that they're trying to go through this like Assassin's Creed type of game. I'm kind of iffy with it, because I don't know if we're going to have to loot and grind to get certain things. Like if I'm Batgirl in the game and I'm facing Mr. Freeze, like they show like in that little teaser video, if he's level 25 and I'm level 15, I can't do nothing to him, because I got to keep grinding to get more loot to raise up my stats. So like I'm kind of nervous about that, because like how is that going to go? Like will it go like Destiny 2? But I think if it goes down the route of like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think the game would be good. With a Suicide Squad, it's too early to tell. That was a cinematic trailer. It looked nice. One thing though, I'm tired of Superman being the villain. They did it with Injustice. You know, they did it with Injustice 2. I think, you know, I get the whole subject of kill the Justice League, but I would have rather had Suicide Squad go up against the Justice League as them being good. And from what I heard is that Batman's not even in the game, because DC said they don't want him involved, because they don't want the player killing or capturing Batman. So like they're keeping Batman with that aura of like he's unkillable. So it's mostly Superman, I heard, Flash, and Wonder Woman. So all in all, I think the games are good. Gotham Knight is a wait and see, and Suicide Squad, it's a wait and see for me. So
Andy, what was your thoughts, mate?
So Gotham Knights, like I understand why they've gone that direction. Like I played all the the Arkham games, and I really liked Arkham Knight, apart from like the Batmobile stuff. Like I thought it was a very solid game. So I'm kind of glad to go back into that. And, Warner Brothers Montreal, they did Arkham Origins, so they know how to play around in that world. That one it's very much a case of, I'm sure it will be fine. Like, the idea that they're all co-op as well, like both games are fully co-op, is interesting, to be able to kind of put that on with a friend and be like, okay, let's just get through it. I do kind of miss the idea that I don't think it's going to be a narrative-driven game, which is a shame. Like, the Arkham games were very much they are a narrative, like, you follow that story and it's guided, and I felt very kind of taken along by that, and the fact that it's maybe not going to be as much of that is a shame, but also I don't know that for sure. But it's going to look fine. Like, that's enough. In terms of Suicide Squad game, so yeah, it looks fine. I think the important thing that we need to talk about, though, is that Rocksteady are not in a good place right now. So there is a history of abuse scandals throughout Rocksteady at the moment that they have just not dealt with. And I know that obviously they've produced this game and everyone's excited for the fact that they're, and I'm excited to see Rocksteady go back to DC. But at the same time, we also need to factor into account that Rocksteady as a company have made some horrible mistakes in regards to their staff recently. And that's something that we probably need to look at and go, actually make sure you say sorry to your people. Because they've not apologized. They've put people on courses to say, here's an hour-long course to say, we've done bad, but they've never actually said sorry. And I think it's important that we also acknowledge that. So yeah, they've got this flashy game coming out, and we're going to get to beat up Superman or whatever. But at the same time, at least acknowledge the wrongs of the studio, because they are completely within the wrong at the moment. And it's up to them. It took their employees to come and put an open letter into The Guardian to say, look, we've been ignored by Rocksteady. And we're now putting this out there so that everybody knows that, there were some great people working on this who have now left and have no job because they couldn't feel safe in their own workplace. And I think it's also important that we look at that side of things, as well as the fact that, yes, they have a nice flashy game.
Didn't know that. Interesting. Cool. Cheers for that, Andy. Alex.
So I won't play either of these games, just letting you know up top, but I'll talk about them.
Yeah.
So one of them is a game where numbers come out of people, and I think that's Gotham Knights. Is that right?
I believe so.
I'm looking for Andy to help me on this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, okay. So that's the game where numbers come out of people. I'm very against that kind of thing. So whatever. Numbers don't come out of people in real life. So I'm not down with that.
You've not hit them hard enough.
You don't watch Countdown.
I'm sure it's fun, and numbers don't come out of. Okay, so you're saying out of their minds? That's a stretch, Anne. That's a stretch. Yeah, so I'm not going to play it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure people will enjoy it, and they'll have, I don't know, sleepovers where they all play together, right? Is that the thing that happens still? It's still like N64 days, right? Where everyone's on GoldenEye. It's all split screen, like 4 different compartments, right? What's the other one? Suicide Squad. Yeah, I don't know. It looks fine, I'm sure. King Shark's in it, so he'll sell some plush toys or whatever. And to Andy's point, with regards to looking at the sort of background of the studios, I think as consumers, people should be aware of what the individuals or what the companies they are buying from hold as their values. I also think it makes little to no difference at this point in terms of the bottom line, and until you see mass boycotts, nothing's ever going to affect it at a corporate level, just because that's the way things go. Unless it really affects their bottom line, these companies won't listen to anything. Public outcry doesn't mean that much unless there's a groundswell of support behind it, and that includes mass boycotts. That includes these things. And as long as you're putting the name of Suicide Squad on your game alongside it being released as a movie, you kind of feel like they're going to sell, I don't know, is 1 million copies good for a video game? Probably. So, I don't know. I won't play either of them, but it's fun to pretend.
Yeah. Aaron, what's your thoughts?
I think the graphics look great on both the video games. The Suicide Squad and the Gotham Knights one looks fantastic. But I don't play any video games, so can't really weigh in on the gameplay and all that stuff. So, but it looks great, you know. So
Yeah. Cool. And
So I'll start with Gotham Knights. I've got little to no interest in Gotham Knights at all. I was pretty much done with that kind of environment setting after the Arkham games. I didn't really need that kind of a reintroduction into that kind of setting again, just with different people at this point. I really enjoyed playing Batman games, especially the Arkham games. I thought the fluidity of the combat was really enjoyable to play. The overall gameplay and like Andy said, the narrative-driven story is really fun. And then to go into this style game off the back of it, it kind of feels like, oh, you're getting knocked back a little bit. So I've got absolutely little to zero interest in that at all. Suicide Squad, on the other hand, I do think looks a little bit more interesting. With the interchangeable characters throughout the game, you can chop and change who you want to play with throughout. Yeah, I agree that Superman as the villain is a little bit old now, considering the Injustice games. Injustice. Yes, the Injustice. But yeah, but the thing about Suicide Squad is it looks a hell of a load of fun. And I think that whilst we go back to what we initially said about King Shark, I think it was Andy said, I think that King Shark's going to play quite a big role in the Suicide Squad going forward, because in the panel, that character, when Will Arnett was talking about the game and stuff like that, that character's interaction with him seemed to be having the most fun and making the most jokes. So I think that he's going to have a lot to do with this game, which will be quite fun, because usually King Shark kind of takes a bit of a backseat as the novelty. So I'm hoping that you get to play around a little bit more with that character, because it's probably one of the more interesting characters you can play around with, considering he's a half man, half shark. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to one, not the other.
For me, yeah, I don't really play games anymore. But the footage looked nice. Gotham Knights looked okay. I like the Suicide Squad and the sort of banter. I think Boomerang's sort of flash powers were a bit intriguing. So then if it was the boomerang and he followed then where the boomerang went.
I was very confused by that, by the way.
I know, it confused me as well.
Is that a real power? Does anyone know? That's something you can do?
I hope not.
I'm not sure. I think if I was a gamer, I'd probably be let down with the release date, because I think they said it's 2022 it's going to come out. So if I was an avid gamer and wanted to play this, I would have been pissed with teasing me 2 years in advance of the game being released. But yeah, the overall footage looked nice, and it'd be interesting to see how the King Shark in the game is compared to the James Gunn film. Because I'm sure people will say, which one's better. But yeah, looked all right to me. It was decent. Cool. So next up, the Batman,
the big hitter,
the big man. So the Batman's getting released. Getting released on the 1st of October next year. So Sancho, do you want to kick us off?
Oh yeah, man, that footage looked awesome. Like, God, Robert Pattinson as when he has like the Batman suit on. Oh, dude, incredible. Especially that one shot when I think the Skull Gang asked him like who are you, and he starts just beating the shit out of him. Doesn't say anything. That was the best beatdown I've ever seen from a Batman. Like, that was just like pure anger at its best. The shots were awesome. I like the one where he's grappling through. I think it looks like the Gotham PD, and like the camera is just on him, and as he's moving up. that looked awesome. The only thing I didn't like was emo Bruce Wayne. Like I was ready to just pop up my my Chemical Romance records and with him with like the makeup. It kind of reminded me of Spider-Man 3, where we had an emo Peter Parker. So I'm just hoping like his Bruce Wayne is good.
Let's just hope
What
he
was
doesn't dance
you-
down the street.
Yeah. What was you expecting before the weekend? Did you think we would get this type of trailer for the Batman?
I don't know. I trusted Matt Reeves' work. I like what he's done. I don't know. I guess again, I'm liking what I saw so far. So just reserving my judgment.
Yeah. Cool. BC.
Oh, Matt Reeves' panel, excellent. I love how he didn't make anything about himself. He talked about the movie. You could tell that he has a lot of passion for it. That's a big plus for me. Batman Year 2, another thing that's great. We've seen Batman too many like Year 1 movies. I think this one's different. I don't know if you guys noticed, like Sancho touched on a lot of stuff, so like I'll touch on different things. Colin Farrell, we seen him in the movie as Penguin, like with the makeup on, incredible. I saw a little owl on top of the Gotham like cops badge. You can see it on top. It's a little owl, so I don't know if the Quarter Owls is going to be connected some way to it, which that's really interesting. The Riddler, I've been salivating for like a deadly evil Riddler for the longest time, and we finally gonna get it. You know,
Look at that.
with the envelope being green, looks incredible. Robert Pattinson, yeah, with the whole emo thing, but you know what? Like, I think we'll grown to like it. I think, you know what I'm saying? This is the first teaser trailer. I think we just need to see more in the movie when time comes. Catwoman looks incredible. That one scene when they kind of went up on each other, like she was real agile. She was doing these like different moves. I think little details like that as Catwoman is incredible. Like that picture right there. I think it was great. So with me, it was my favorite trailer out of all the trailers on Fandom, for sure.
Cool. And what was you expecting before you saw the trailer?
I put a lot. The thing is, like, I haven't been this excited for a Batman movie since the Nolan era, because like when Snyder first came out with Batman vs Superman, that Comic-Con trailer back in 2015, I think it was, because the movie came out in 2016. I was real hesitant with it. You know what I'm saying? He was jumping into this, you know, the Dark Knight with Superman, you know, Death of Superman. It was too mashed up. We just wanted one coherent story. That's all I want. And it's like really, it's a grounded movie. The Batmobile looks I know people are not a fan of it. I know people are going to say it sucks or whatever, but to me, it's really grounded. It's not comic booky. So like we could tell what direction he's planning on going with the movie. So yeah, all around, I'm cool with it.
Wicked. Andy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, I love Matt Reeves. I think what he did with the ape stuff is like incredible. And then basically for them to produce something like they've filmed like 25% of the film, and for them to produce something that seems like a kind of fully fleshed trailer for me, like, is incredible. Like, it gives me the tone, and like a lot of people basically said, "Oh yeah, it's very Fincher-esque," and it is Fincher-esque, but at the same time, that's not a bad thing. Like, if this is a Batman that is, you know, a bit more of a detective, you know, I want that for my Batman. Also, like, to have Riddler as the main villain is, for what seems to be the main villain anyway, is a really good idea, because like, so Scott Snyder basically wrote the New 52 Batman stuff, and that's like some incredible stuff in there. Like, he basically created the Court of Owls and stuff. I know Sancho's basically mentioned a bit, like, you know, that look on Riddler, if that is even Riddler, we don't know, but it has a very kind of Court of Owls look to it. And if they're pulling stuff from Scott Snyder's run, like, there's some really, really interesting stuff there. Like, his version of the Riddler is actually interesting. Like, for somebody who, you know, I was brought up with Jim Carrey as Riddler. Like, that's how I saw him, like this kind of like pantomime kind of garish man. And to have a Riddler that, you know, is a bit more interesting, is a bit more of a game player, a bit more kind of tactile, is actually something that's it could be really interesting. I'm trying not to get overexcited because I'm like, oh, what if this is good? Like, what if it even lets me down? Like, I'm there, like, just kind of temper your expectations. Because I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah, it looks kind of what I want it to be. And I think, you know, Patterson, we've spoke about before, but, you know, he's a good actor. And when you saw him beat down that guy, I went, okay, so he's got kind of the muscles as well. Like, and I know you mentioned your My Chemical Romance CDs. Mine have already been playing, so I'm glad I've got a Batman that finally represents me.
Cool. And what was you expecting before this Sunday?
I don't know. I was hoping we'd get something, but I knew it hadn't been kind of filmed for long, so I thought we were kind of going to get like a taster. I was really concerned with what we were going to get was like the logo and the bat suit, and maybe a picture of the Batmobile as some kind of like a little bit of musical score. I didn't expect the whole trailer, and I was like, I think I'm going to be disappointed at the end of this. That's all I'm going to get. But this is kind of what I was hoping we were going to get from Reeves. Like, I was hoping this is kind of the way he would take this. So I was quite impressed anyway.
Cool. Alex?
Yeah, so I think out of everything that came out of the weekend, this is the thing for me that stood out as being the one thing I was interested in. So, you know, props to them for that. I think Pattinson's a great shout. I think, you know, even going back to things like Cosmopolis in 2013, like, he's always been very good. And, you know, it's one of these things where he's done a lot of stuff recently where it's taken him maybe away from the public spotlight of, you know, Twilight, and it's maybe time to sort of boost that star meter again and really put himself into the movie-going consciousness. But I'm really excited to see that. I think Matt Reeves is an interesting choice as director. I think, you know, pretty dependable stuff from a very small sample size, but it's the same sort of sample size that we had from Christopher Nolan when he got Batman Begins. So I'm tempted to say, you know, it's a good choice. And from what we've seen tonally, it feels like it's at least an interesting take on it that isn't just going to feel like, you know, it's not going to feel like the Snyder version, which is a good thing for me. You know, try and take it away from that. Try and make it, you know, Walter Hamada said during this thing, this can exist in the same multiverse as the Snyder version, and Joker exists in the same multiverse, but they're all separate. Well, the way to do that is, and I've been saying this for years now, get filmmakers who have, you know, unique ideas for their stories and let them tell them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you know, don't try and have a 5-film arc of this is what's going to happen. Make one good movie and then I'll trust you. But they haven't done that yet for me. And, you know, one great movie hasn't come out of this yet. So I think if there is one, this is it for me. But, you know, I think the supporting characters, you know, they've got really good people. Paul Dano, I think, is a fantastic choice for Riddler. And I'm really excited to see what they do with that character, particularly if they make him a bit more menacing. And I think the one thing it may just fall into is if it feels Fincher-esque at the moment, if it then comes out and feels like it's a mixture of Fincher and Nolan, will you be able to distance yourself away from that and make it sort of your own? That's my only, it's not necessarily a concern. It's just kind of hypothetical. What if this happens? But, you know, it could well be that it comes out, it makes its own stamp on it, and, you know, they run away for the next, three films with this, isn't it? I think they're supposed to be doing. And then, you know, at the end of that, call it quits. Don't carry it on for the sake of carrying it on. You recast your Batman, do a different thing, get a new filmmaker in who's got another unique idea for the thing. Don't force creativity from it.
Cool. Cheers for that, mate. Aaron.
Yeah, Alex, unless it makes a lot of money, right? Or too much money.
Well, that's always
Usually the driving force.
I know that's what ruins everything, right? Kind of. So I'm so impressed with this teaser, trailer, whatever it was. I mean, it was a very meaty teaser, and it was just so rich with tone and the scope of what we're going to be going into, the world of it. First thing that came to my mind was Seven, you know, and Fincher. I lie. The first thing that came to my mind was Ben Affleck, who, and then it was the tone, and then because I think Robert Pattinson, after seeing Good Time, and seeing a couple of his other stuff, I think he does have the acting chops for this. So I'm not at all concerned about him playing Batman or Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne, I'll talk about in a little bit. But Catwoman looks great. Penguin looks amazing. I couldn't believe that was Colin Farrell. The Riddler looks great. Sounds great. So the tone of the movie, Fincher, and so glad that they're going to go towards the very serious tone. Like I really love the way they did Joker. Of course, I'm a big fan of the Nolan films, the Joker film, and now this film. I just love that tone, and so I'm so happy about that. Now it is year 2, so it's hard to compare year 2 Batman to anything that we've seen so far. The Batman, the Bruce Wayne image, the Batman suit, the Batmobile, and everything we've seen so far. Because the Batmobile is probably in the primitive stage compared to the Tumbler that we saw in Batman Begins, or even Keaton's Batman. This is Batman 2, Batman year 2. He's gonna be reckless. He's gonna be careless sometimes. So I see the emo Batman as being just a notch of his arc. By the end of it, he'll turn into Bruce Wayne, and that will be the true mask. True mask has always been Bruce Wayne. So I just feel like by the end of the movie, you'll see him turn into this reckless, careless person. That's like, oh man, my personal identity, my private identity, and then he'll learn how to be Bruce Wayne that he's supposed to be. And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to be the thing that's going to resonate with me, because I've always been a really advocate for who is like Bruce Wayne character. Is this character going to be a good Bruce Wayne, and second to Batman? So that's my take on it.
Cool. And just before the trailer came out, what was your expectation of it beforehand?
I was excited about it. I was excited about it, but I didn't since I didn't know too much. I went in pretty clean. I didn't get any kind of rumors or anything like that. The only rumor that I saw was that this guy's not working out anymore, and everybody's like going crazy about it. And it's like, hey, you're Batman, you got to be working out. But other than that, I didn't hear any kind of expectations of what was going to be in and out. Just the characters that the actors that were going to play these characters. But that's it. But everything has been above my expectations on what I saw. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that they only shot 33% of it, or 25% of the film. So I'm just like, okay, well, it's just that shooting 75% of the movie left, that gives a risk of it messing up somehow. I don't know why, but hopefully it's not.
I think the October release date might be a bit ambitious. I think that might be a bit premature.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. But if they push it back to December, in the run up to Christmas, release this movie, you'll make bank.
Definitely. Cheers, mate. And
Mate, this was the thing that I was most excited for. So I watched Fandom like nearly the entirety of it, like all of it, and of course, like the majority of people that were watching it, I would imagine, are going to be tuning in just to see Batman. And I think that I think BC touched on it. The entire panel throughout all of this, not just the footage that we got, but the entire panel of Reeves going through was the best out of it all. You can tell Reeves is really, really invested in this, and what we got from the trailer just shows that how invested and how well versed he is into what we would expect to see from a year 2 Batman. I think what we saw was unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. Like, I was there. I think the thing that I think shocked most people straight away was the beatdown scene, obviously, with the aggression, the sheer just brutality of it. It either pushed people back so far with their jaws open, or it made people grin from ear to ear, because it's exactly what you want from a year 2 Batman, and it's exactly what we got. And I'm just hoping that that's what we get for the rest of it. I loved pretty much everything about this trailer and everything that we're getting from it. I love the aesthetic of the suit. I initially thought that we would only get one glimpse of the suit. I thought that the final shot of this trailer was going to be kind of like a panning shot of the suit. It would zoom out and he would be there, and that's all we would get. But we got that suit early on in that trailer, and we got it a lot. So we know what this Batman looks like head to toe. We know what he looks like straight away. And I was really pleasantly surprised with it, because obviously with the initial kind of like test footage first trailer, if you want to call it, that we got with the red tone, and it was very hard to see, and you know, the pictures have been kind of like edited to see what the cowl looks like and stuff like that. I was a little bit apprehensive because I wasn't too sure what it kind of looked like, but after seeing him, I'm like, I don't care. That looks incredible. That looks great. And considering, I suppose that every time that I look at something, or every time I take something into consideration, you have to think about where we are in the story of Batman. We are very, very early in the stage of Batman. Everything looks a little bit rugged. Everything looks a little bit haphazard, because he is like, Batman came into Batman when he's like, what, 21, 22. So he's a relatively young guy here. Like, he's a young guy. So he is going to be, like you said, it's going to be reckless. Everything's going to look a little bit handmade. And the way that everything looks, like even just the shot of his boot, it didn't look like a specialized boot. It just looks like a black boot that you could pick up somewhere, because, you know, it's just an armored boot. And it's just little things like that which show you that the kind of journey that he is currently on at the minute, and where he is aesthetically, where he is mentally. I think from the aggression, you can see where he is mentally. But there's also a shot of him, and it's only a small shot in the trailer, of him fighting a load of prison guards within a prison cell. And it looks like him and Gordon are having a bit of a mashup as well. That alone tells you where this Batman is, because we have never seen that. We have never seen a Batman fly off the handle like that in front of everyone. In, you know, Gordon alone, you know, start jostling with Gordon, so you know exactly what you're kind of going to get from this, and I can't wait. I think the cast that we have been subject to, I think there are going to be more people introduced in this. I don't think that the Penguin and the Riddler are going to be the only kind of villains that we get out of this. I think that we're going to get an ensemble cast out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if a Joker turns up, although I'm kind of hoping it doesn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did show up. But the cast that we've got at the minute, Jeffrey Wright as Gordon is perfect. I mean, I think he'd play a great Lucius Fox as well, but he is perfect as Jim Gordon. And I think that the who we've got so far is great. Pattinson, I hadn't seen it, but I recently watched Good Time last week. And what a movie that is. And that just goes to show you the type of acting ability that Pattinson has. He could take his hand to anything. And I just think that if the rest of what we get is like what we've currently got, this has the potential to be the best Batman yet. And that is a bit. I mean, everyone's got their own personal favorite Batman for many reasons, whether or not it's just your first Batman, whether or not, you know, you've had your mind changed, or, you know, whatever, you know, everyone's got their own reasons why they love their own Batman. But I think this could be a reason to make that decision change, because this looks incredible. It looks like it could be a game changer, and I am super, super excited for it. And I really hope that line of "I am vengeance" isn't the only line of that. I hope it's the full version of it. But we'll see. But yeah, that beatdown was just, I was there just like, oh my God, Jesus. It's just so good. But,
and how many times did you watch the trailer?
I've watched it probably about 5 or 6 times by now. I probably could have watched it more. I don't want to. I get so excited about it because I love Batman. I don't know if you can tell, but I absolutely love Batman, and I can get too eager on it and watch it over and over and over and over again. And then by that point where it comes out or something new comes up, I'll get a little bit bored of it. So I want to kind of rein myself in as much as I can. But man, I'm excited for this. I'm so excited for this. And I think, I mean, I'll stop now, Nick. You can crack on. But yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about it. Literally from the moment Matt Reeves started talking to the end of it. I thought it was the best part of Fandom. Easy.
Echoing majority of what you've all said, this was easily my favorite trailer by far, and it had the vibe that what you said, Aaron, that the Seven vibe which I wanted. And you've got that sort of Commissioner Gordon's the sort of Morgan Freeman, Batman's the Brad Pitt, the reckless sort of guy who's doing all the investigation type of thing. But there was a few things in there which I really liked, is just Batman walking in a room with police officers, which you don't normally see in the other films. And I think, yeah, he is the sort of year 2 Batman. Like Aram says, he's reckless, he's got rage. And I think if it is going to be a trilogy, you're going to see him transition into that sort of playboy Bruce Wayne that we want to see. And I think everyone's hooked up with the way that he looks, and he's got this emo look. And I think that's just the start of it. We're going to see a build up to him becoming what we all know from the previous characters in terms of a playboy. There was just little things in the trailer that I loved. The very end where he rises up in front of the gang, and then it just hits the title. Absolutely loved that. And the music, one bit that you said, Sancho, where he's flying up the middle, it just all looked fantastic. And again, for it only being 20% of the film that's been filmed, I'm really looking forward to what they deliver. And I'm interested in terms of what they do with the chemistry between Batman and Catwoman, and how that's going to work and how they're going to play it out. Because I keep reading they're going to go off a few different storylines, like the Long Halloween, and a few other ones. So I'm really intrigued. But Pattinson, I said before this, I always knew that he was a solid actor, and people complaining about whether he was putting muscle on or not. You just got to look at Michael Keaton. He wasn't a beefcake, and he absolutely smashed it as Batman. And I think just the end of this trailer should have shut up a lot of haters in terms of him playing Batman, for me anyway. Do you guys think this will go for an R rating?
Yes.
I just heard
Yeah.
that.
If
I
they
got a
don't,
notification
it
about that.
should.
Yeah. I think I got a notification that it's rumored to be an R-rated film. So who knows? Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
That'd be good, because
Yeah.
I've seen Pattinson in some interviews said he wants to take this Batman to its limit and push it as much as he could, if they weren't allowed to get an R rating. So I think it would make a lot of money. The first Batman film that's a proper R-rated Batman.
Well, they just need to look at Joker, don't they? I mean, look how successful that Joker movie was, and what they were able to do with the dark, gritty nature of the Joker. Now you translate that into Batman and multiple villains, maybe possibly including a version of the Joker. Batman's always going to make money regardless. Like, Batman will always pull people in. And I think that, yeah, some people might go, well, it's unfair for kids because kids like Batman, but this is not a Batman that kids want to see. Like, it shouldn't be a Batman that kids want to see. I feel like this is an adult Batman, but I don't necessarily think that that's going to be a bad thing, kind of like box office wise.
So I think,
I said, if anything, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
No, you go. You keep on running.
No, I was pretty much finished anyway. So
I think the one thing that Warner Brothers might be looking at here and thinking, okay, our rating might not affect us too much, is obviously, the success of Joker last year, but also, where are we going to be cinematically in the next year? Are we going to still be in a case where the majority of people don't feel comfortable going back to cinemas? Because if they do that and they release it VOD, as a, maybe it's a staggered release, or maybe it is a day and date release across all platforms, and they charge $29.99 or whatever for your home rental of it, that might actually still make sense to them, because you're opening it up to the market who legally can't see it at the cinema, but you're opening it up to that market still. And the releases we've had so far have proven there is an audience for that, and there is a way to make that kind of release work. Now, I think the interesting thing will be having to do it both at the same time. How will that work? But I wouldn't be surprised if that's maybe the situation we're still in, that there is a good proportion of the audience, or the potential audience for this film, who don't feel comfortable going back to the cinema even next year.
I get what you're saying, but also don't forget Trolls came out and it was one of the highest grossing movies of this year. I say reskin this whole thing to be a U rating. Really friendly family Batman.
I wanted to
just
say real quick.
yeah, go on, BC.
Oh, go ahead, man.
No,
Oh,
go
I
on,
just want to
BC.
say, we're talking about like October release date. I also think as well because they keep talking about the Long Halloween storyline being involved too. So I think October could be the perfect month to do it because it's just like it's Halloween. It got that gritty feel to it. The storyline of the Long Halloween. I think it kind of works out well. I think that was the month they were looking for. And like I wanted to ask you guys all this. Doesn't the aura of a Batman film is back? Like just watching the trailer, you get that aura of this is like a Batman film that we didn't really get during the Snyder era's Batman. Like it's back. Feels good.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like it feels like it could carry itself. Like it feels like it could be this. I mean, granted, we've been subject to 2-3 minutes of a 25% shot film. So there is a lot. There is a lot to go out for, but yeah, I do feel like from what we've got, and the enthusiasm that Matt Reeves has had, and I mean I've watched some interviews with Pattinson, and everyone seems to be so really hyped for this. And I mean, just like I said, the fact that they've got this cast alone, it gets you excited for what is coming. And I think that this could be the beginning of of what could, like I said, potentially be a high contender as your next favorite Batman or your most favorite Batman.
I was looking at the views from the fandom, and the Batman trailers sort of doubled every single trailer that was shown at the fandom. I think it's on like 17 million in terms of views.
Yeah, it was what people tuned in for. Me, it was like that, and the Snyder Cut was, I think, were the two ones that most people wanted. Everything else, there was it was nice to kind of.
But I think that shows how much people want to see Batman. If that double,
I mean, I think
because
it's the first look at something that's brand new, rather than a relook at something that is 3 years old at this point, and a second trailer for a movie that has already had a trailer 3 months before. I think it's it's always going to be the biggest draw because it's the one that people weren't necessarily expecting or whatever, and it's the only one that feels like it's, oh wow, the first look at this thing. The Black Adam trailer, fine, but it's not a trailer, so you're there like, well, that's never going to get that level of viewership.
I will say about the overall about the DC fandom. We haven't touched upon it, but I think the best panel was the kind of the panel that gave us the least. And I don't know if anyone saw it, but I don't know if anyone saw the Shazam 2 panel. And all they did was they released what the name of the movie was. That's all they could give us because they're in very, very early stages of it. But the panel for that was the most fun I had watching all of, bar the Batman, was the most fun I had watching all of it. So if you haven't watched it, I suggest you go watch it because it's a good laugh. And if you haven't seen it, just go and have a look at it. But yeah, don't expect like spoilers or don't expect kind of like insight into it because they don't give it to you, or they give you the name. But that was a fun panel in comparison to some of the panels. I think they did a murder mystery with the Wonder Woman cast, which was just like an hour's worth of filler that didn't make sense, and I don't understand why they were doing it.
I think if I can jump in, the last thing I was just going to say on the Batman stuff. So Greg Fraser is the director of photography on it. He's just doing Dune at the moment as well. And he did Rogue One. I think this is, visually going to be a really interesting film. I think they've got the right people in the right departments to make this really interesting. Michael Giacchino's doing the music for it. So, there's someone with superhero movie credentials doing your score. And you kind of feel like maybe this is the time that they've got those component parts right.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think Brian touches on one thing here just regarding the eye makeup. So yeah, I think that adds to that realism that when he takes off the mask, the eye makeup's not vanished. And then it's still there.
I think the only character that I've seen do that prior to this is the Winter Soldier, and they do have a very similar look with the crazy hair going off that. But it always annoyed me when someone whipped off their mask or whipped off. I think it was in Batman Returns when Catwoman he rips his cowl off, and there's like one shot where his eyes are dark, and literally like it cuts, and his eyes are not dark, and it is the most infuriating thing to watch. But it's like when people just take off their masks, or if they've just got like an eye mask and there's no dark makeup there, it's just like just put some dark makeup around your eyes. It just adds to a bit more realism. But I think Winter Soldier was the only person that I've seen do that when they had a bit of mask on.
My favorite part in that when he rips his mask off, and then Christopher Walken's like, Bruce Wayne, what are you dressed up like Batman?
Great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Was there?
I love those movies.
Sancho, was there anything with the Fandome that you was expecting to see but you didn't see, or was not announced?
No, I think they covered everything that I wanted to see, that I was interested in. I would love to see a Green Lantern on the screen again, but maybe they're still traumatized because of Ryan Reynolds.
There's a rumor that Ryan Reynolds is going to be in the Snyder Cut. Is that true,
I heard that. I don't know if it's trolling or what, but
they keep talking about it, don't they?
Yeah, they keep on, like, even Reynolds was like kind of like in on it. He like tweeted saying that like I'm already in it apparently or something like that. So I don't know if it's trolling or not. It feels like it's trolling, but it'd be interesting to see how and where he fit into that. But
if you add him in there, it's going to make or break the film, right, BC? Definitely.
Oh, at this point, Snyder's gonna do it just to do it, man. He's gonna be like, "This is so great."
It's like, this is my shot. I'm gonna take it.
In there also, what the hell,
He's shooting his shot.
Yeah.
Just get it in.
He'll get a third chance after a while anyway. So
BC, was there
re-release the Snyder Cut?
Was there anything that you wanted to hear about? That you didn't.
The state of the comic book community. I think they're gonna talk about it probably September 12th, because I think they're gonna do another fandom, like a smaller one with like the TV shows and comic books. When they did this event, it was the week before the bloodbath of them firing a whole lot of people in the comic department. So I'm kind of interested, like what direction they're gonna go with the comic books. I know Jim Lee said that they're not going anywhere. But what he's really saying is that Batman's titles and Justice League titles are not going anywhere. A lot of other characters, their titles are getting cut like sooner or later. So I wonder what's going to go down with that. Also, same thing with the future of like other, like the TV shows too. Like what is the CW going to go with? Like, because they mentioned something that the movies and the TV shows at some point are going to collide again. So, like, I'm kind of interested in, like, what else they could do other than the Flash meeting Flash. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's a lot.
I think that's what they're gonna. I think that's what they're gonna pin it on. I think the Flash movie is probably going to be integral into any kind of crossover. As, like you said, they've already kind of done that. Ezra Miller popping up in the CW Flash. I think that movie is going to be integral into any kind of crossover between the TV and the movies.
Yeah. I think they're doing a second Fandome in September, because I think they were supposed to do Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday was the movies, and then I think Sunday was the TV shows and other DC related.
Yeah, they said
then
September,
they split it.
September 12th.
Yeah.
It's going to fall on the Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, so we may get more on the back of that. Andy, was there anything that you wanted to hear about, or you thought would be announced?
Would have liked to have seen some kind of movement on the trench. Let's see what's happening with that. I think the Aquaman panel was one of the weakest.
Terrible.
It was just two guys just having a chat, like they haven't caught up in a while. But I could have done with I'd have liked to have seen if they'd had any kind of even concept art or kind of idea
definitely.
of what that is. That would have been cool. But I think BC, when you talk about those comic layoffs, like there's a reason why that was announced at the time it was. Because they knew that this was coming. So, everyone's talking about DC, but they're talking about it for the reasons that Warner Brothers want you to talk about DC. And there's a reason why that next Fandome doesn't come for another couple of weeks. because by the time you get to talking about comics again, everyone's forgotten that they've just laid off God knows how many people. You know, and it is one of those things where you go, this universe wouldn't exist without those people in that office. You know, those people who are putting your comic books together. Like, where do you get your ideas from? It is a bit shady the way they've done it. So yeah, I don't think you'll get anything about it.
Wouldn't surprise me if some of them comic people are in the videos that come out, the pre-vid.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Alex, was there anything that you was expecting to hear about?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Green Lantern. Where's my Green Lantern movie that I've been demanding for 20 years? I didn't see the last one. Yeah, I just feel like that would be something that I'd be really interested in seeing. But I at this point, I'm resigned to the fact that that probably won't happen for 7 to 8 years now, at least, just because they're so busy with everything else at this point. I'm fine not seeing The Trench. Sorry, Andy.
How dare you?
Well, what's interesting is, you know, the Meg, the movie about the massive shark.
Oh God! Yeah.
The sequel for that is called The Trench, so they might even be beaten to the punch by the Meg on this one.
Two universes together. Jason Statham punches an Aquaman.
Jason Statham as like, is there like a B-side character Aquaman? Like, is there an Aqua Boy?
Yeah, there's Aqualad, isn't there?
Aqualad, yeah.
Oh, okay, let's oil up Statham and get him in there. I'd be down to watch that.
He's got the diving experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get a perfect 10 for the diving. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, go for it. I'm in.
Cool. Aaron, what was you expecting?
Same thing with Green Lantern. It would have been nice to get something of a mention about if they were going to be moving direction of something, anything about Green Lantern. And another one, I'm not sure if maybe I missed it. Was there any mention of Martian Manhunter? That's one of my favorite characters also, but I'm not sure if they mentioned anything about that.
Yeah, nothing was mentioned about him. Like, I agree, I love that character, but there was nothing even hinted about Martian Manhunter, unfortunately.
Would you like to see him in the Snyder Cut? Because apparently he's coming in that.
Okay, well, yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I know I didn't. The other one on top is Man of Steel 2, which I don't know if that's ever gonna. But right now, everybody's with the Snyder Cut. I really doubt they're going to be mentioning that. But BC, did you hear anything about Man of Steel 2, or like the sequel? All right, you're muted.
Oh,
yeah. There you
no,
go.
I said I haven't. Yeah, I haven't heard anything at all from Man of Steel 2. Everybody's on the Snyder with Martian Manhunter. I heard that he's gonna be in the movie. Supposedly the guy that from Man of Steel, the general, he's supposed to be Martian Manhunter. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love a Man of Steel too.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for some kind of hint on Man of Steel. I get why, even if that is in production or that is in concept or whatever that is, I can understand why that wouldn't have been hinted because of the Snyder Cut. Because I would imagine that Snyder would be petitioning to do Man of Steel 2. I was also I don't know whether or not I was hoping for it, but I just expected to hear something about the rumors flying around about the air cut of Suicide Squad. Just because of how many rumors there were about it. I expected something just to be mentioned, something to be hinted, because I've seen quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they can put a bullet straight in that right now, surely. No one needs to see the air cut. That bad film.
No, that's what I'm saying. I just expected to hear something either confirming or debunking the.
I've just had word now. They say no, it's not happening.
There you go. Then. There you go.
You know, I just remembered like Batman versus Superman also had a director's cut, also, right? So he didn't do it right the first time on that movie or this movie, whatever, you know. But let me ask you. This is a question for everybody, I guess. Who would you want to direct Man versus Steel 2? Man of Steel 2.
Me. Well, there's rumor of J.J. Abrams, wasn't there? And I think Superman with plenty of lens flare is perfect.
Yeah.
No, did you read Superman Flyby? He got crucified for that. Like nerds went to his like book signing back in 2000s and they gave him shit for it. Where
Really?
like he wanted he wanted Superman and Lex Luthor to be brothers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I
Bring
just want,
Tim Burton back. For
I just
Superman.
want,
And Nick Cage to
Yeah, we
replace
need that's what we
Cavill.
need.
is it Superman Birthright where Superman makes Lex Luthor lose his hair? I just want that. It's just like being around Superman makes Lex Luthor, and he has this big curly hair and it just all falls out. I don't know if it's Birthright, but it's a Superman comic I've read.
The thing is about Man of Steel 2, I think, is that Man of Steel seems to be, for me anyway, the only Superman that I've really resonated with, and Cavill's the only real Superman I've resonated with. I haven't really fell in love with any Superman prior to that, and I know that that sounds like blasphemy to people that love Christopher Reeve, and
Christopher Reeve,
I understand that, but I've never really loved the Superman character until I saw Man of Steel. And even then, I've got problems with it. But that's the only iteration or version of Superman in his solo form that I've been able to deal with. So I don't think that I would want to trust Man of Steel 2 with anyone other than Snyder, unfortunately, because he seems to have given me what I wanted from Superman, or what I can tolerate and like about Superman. So for me, Man of Steel 2 would I'd want Snyder to do.
I'm going to say Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to add real quick that I know that Henry Cavill hasn't signed the contract for Superman yet. I think they were still in negotiations.
I thought he did sign one. I guess maybe not.
He signed on for cameos.
Okay.
Oh, okay, but not
a
like
full movie yet. No.
Yeah.
Yes, Sancho. It's funny you mentioned the whole brother thing with Lex and Superman, because it kind of shadowed a little bit on Joker, right? Joker was like hinted that he was Bruce Wayne's brother, but I think with Superman, it goes back to the Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne. I always think, who's going to play Bruce Wayne? Because it's, Batman's Batman. Who's going to play Bruce Wayne? Who's going to play Clark? Who's going to play Clark? And I don't know, man. I think Henry Cavill's great Superman. It's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves is great Clark Kent. I mean,
I
love Christopher Reeves, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's this. I have the exact same thing with Batman. Like Christian Bale, perfect Bruce Wayne. Terrible
He's
Batman.
American Psycho.
Yeah, like he is the Bruce Wayne that if I think of Bruce Wayne, I think of Christian Bale. When I think of Batman, I don't think of Christian Bale.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah, I always think of the Clark Kent of being that clumsy Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
And not a sort of still suave and still looking sort of powerful, even as Clark Kent, which I think Henry does. I think he needs that sort of clumsiness to take away that powerful Superman vibe, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think his buttons are stretched.
Too buff.
The guy's just too good looking. That's the problem.
Yeah,
he's too. You put some glasses on him, and it just highlights it. He's just like, no, you can't. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. Perfect Superman, maybe not so much Clark.
I think I was expecting some Superman news, whether that be a film or him turning up in Black Adam, some form of official announcement that he'll be appearing in something. But I think there's just absolutely nothing. At all,
I expected more from
Cavill.
I expected a bigger presence from Cavill. Like his only contribution to DC fandom was him reading a question to Zack Snyder.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a cameo again.
That was his only contribution, and like Cavill's a big comic book fan from what I know and what I've seen and what I've read and stuff, and to have his only contribution be there to that of grabbing Zack Snyder's nuts and ramming it down his throat. That's the only thing there. It was a bit disappointing.
I think there was so much hype before it about. I think there was a thing where he was building his computer, and they were like, "Oh, that's a sign that he's signed on for Man of Steel 2 or what have you." So I think
I saw that. That was weird. That was weird. He got a lot of female attention for literally building a computer.
It's because he was in his vest, flexing, making it feel like it was extra heavy, but it wasn't. What do you guys think of the Affleck series on HBO?
I'm so excited for that.
Oh,
Think you're
that's
happy?
Aaron's favorite Batman right there.
What about Affleck doing his script that he'd wrote? So apparently it was supposed to be really good, and they do it into a series.
I think if it was that good, Reeves would have taken it, right? Or did
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Reeves probably had his own vision, which he's doing now.
Yeah,
I think Affleck's would have been totally different.
it's an ego
Yep.
thing.
Yeah. I think at this point we just have to subscribe to the fact that we'll never know, because I don't think that there's going to be a situation where that comes to fruition, like, especially after his appearance in Flash, which I can bet a lot of money on that will be his last appearance in any version of Batman Bruce Wayne that you were going to get, simply because of the rumors you've heard about. I've heard about him having to write himself or having to get them to change the story to add him into it. If he's got his own creative influence into that, it's because he wants the send off that he thinks that he deserves. So I don't think that we'll be getting anything else from him.
He'll come crawling back. He's like the cockroach of DC. Whenever you think he's gone, he's back up on his feet.
He's back hanging in that corner like he was in Batman vs Superman when you first saw him stalking the police.
I forgot how bad that film is.
Go watch it now and then watch The Crow after.
I saw a lot of people compare the Batman trailer to The Crow. Actually,
Yeah,
they said they got the same kind of vibe from it.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know. I've not
the
seen
new
The
one.
Crow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was because of his
face,
eye makeup, and his hair and stuff. So it's quite dark, like The Crow.
Cool.
Which is a great film, by the way, Andy.
Yeah. It's one of my favourites.
It's all right.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else that you guys want to go over before we wrap up?
No, that was it.
Cool. Well, just want to say thanks for all of you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
really
having us.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I think we all enjoy, and I think it's a good thing for us all to get on and express what our love for like these comic book films. So yeah, big thank you for coming on. It's much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, have a nice evening. What do you want to say, Ant?
I was going to say that we are actually, Nick and I think even Alex is, tomorrow we're braving it back into the world of cinema. We're going to see Tenet tomorrow, which I'm super excited about.
Lucky bastards.
Yeah, I'm super excited about. I watched Interstellar the other night just to kind of get a Nolan fix, and I'm super hyped for it. So there'll be a review coming out for Tenet very soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm pretty sure that everyone that has watched is subscribed, but if you've not and you're watching this retrospectively, why not click that button. Does anyone want to do any cheap plugs while we're here? Alex, Andy?
Can I just jump in and say the New Mutants is coming out this weekend for us here. So I think we're all vibing with that right now. DC's kind of like the little brother to the New Mutants. Just the podcast, Dinosaur Man. Find it where you find podcasts.
Aaron,
there you go.
No, thank
yours,
you,
mate.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. I love talking about this stuff. Always. So thanks again.
Yeah. And definitely go, because you've got your own channel as well, Aaron. I know you're discussing films and.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, we have something that we're kind of working on. BC Sancho and Caboose and other people's batch code. On YouTube has batch code, and then we talk about everything. Either fragrance talk, frag talk. We have coffee break, and then we have UFC every now and then on Saturdays that we have that people just watch with us. So it's kind of like a combination of a lot of things. So it's not just one thing, but it's many things, and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely check it out, because I think the last one I watched was a really good one, where I think you had one of your work colleagues where you're talking about film and how you were making stuff. So yeah, definitely go and check out Aaron's channel. It's really good. Cool. Cheers, guys. Well, have a nice evening, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.